Testing, testing. Testing. Am I too loud? Because now I feel like on the last stream I was a little too loud. Hopefully that was good. And I also hope that the filters are not too crazy. Where are my filters? There they are. Recomp. I want to say it's this one. Where's the EQ? Oh, I think it's this one. Yes. Also that too, I gotta stop doing a little... I do that too much. Even I know that I do that too much. I gotta stop doing that. So let me see if maybe that's good there. I'll probably decrease the pace just a little bit. Alright, cool. We should be good with that. Okay, so my apologies for being a couple minutes late. I was actually grabbing something. That's funny. Something that I might see. There I go, doing it again. Something that I'll be unboxing here momentarily. I'm just letting some more minutes to pass by. Thank you for the likes. Let me just make sure that the live chat is living. Or that it's set to live. So just a fair warning, today's stream is very McFarlane heavy. So if you're not the biggest McFarlane fan, I'm afraid that that today's stream, you may not be the biggest fan of it. Granted, like, was there even a whole lot of announcements from other companies? I guess from the Marvel Legends side, there was a very unorthodox reveal. And even that one, I'm a little like, okay, that was strange. It's a bit of a strange announcement or tease or whatever it's called. And it wasn't even a... Wait, hold on, I gotta save that. Show it to my girlfriend. It wasn't even that big of a thing. Like, there was very little fanfare, from what I can tell. Go over to good old Paternia. Where's he at? And then when it comes to Hot Toys hasn't really announced or revealed things, and most of them are either Star Wars based or even Alien based. Last night they announced the Xenomorph from Alien Romulus, which does look pretty nice. I like the detail, but not a big Alien guy. I can admire the figure, but I'm not the biggest Alien guy. Okay, I found the only Marvel Legends reveal, and even then I'm like, wow, this is weird. This is how... I'll get into it. Wrench, welcome to the stream. How's it going? But yeah, it's going to be primarily McFarlane heavy. There's 4 main topics that I want to get through. We'll see if there's any time in between to talk about other things, or if there's anything at the end. Otherwise, it could be a pretty compact show, which is all the better because 2 things. One, I got a lot to edit since I was away out of town this past weekend before the craziness of Thanksgiving weekend, which does start tomorrow. So I guess my first question to some of you guys is, what are you guys' plans for Thanksgiving tomorrow? The big day where we resent family members happens tomorrow. So, just wanted to see what your guys' take is on that. What do you guys have planned for food, for things, especially after an election year? I gotta confess, I am not looking forward to it, but I gotta do it. The girlfriend's parents apparently invited me, but one of them believes that I'm the Antichrist, so I have no idea how that's gonna work. But enough about me. Max819, hi, welcome to the stream. Kevin Liano, Big Rib, welcome to the stream, guys. Waiting for you to tackle those McFarlane leaks because after James Gunn denies that those spoilers, those listings of Ultraman and Baby Kaiju were changed name to Hi due to spoiler, but hi. Well, thank you, Kevin, for spoiling. 30 minutes. I mean, I'm sorry. Little tolerance. Little tolerance for that. I'm sorry. No tolerance for that. If I find the first example, I make it an example. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Now, you're not banned, you got timed out. So when I come back to tackle those leaks, you'll probably be back. But when you're typing that message, please use a little bit of common sense. Read the message ahead of time before hitting send. It's one thing to maybe say it verbally when you're talking to someone in person. It's like, okay, spur of the moment thing sometimes get blurred out, and then you go, oh, and there's no delete function. When people type it out, all that shit goes out the window, and I have no sympathy. I'm sorry. But I just don't have sympathy. I'm like, you typed it. You're actively doing this, read it, and then hit send. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, no. As you're typing it, you're like, okay, why did I? And out of those two names that you mentioned, one of them I knew about, but the other one I didn't. So thank you. So if you're watching this, sorry, man. But you're on a timeout. We'll see you when you get back, and hopefully we can avoid this. I don't celebrate as I live in the UK. So you have nothing to be thankful for, Rich. Because you already took it. No, I'm kidding. I lucky forget it was Thanksgiving soon. Finally had some time today to unbox my Dragonfly. I'm glad I kept it. Big Rip, what do you mean by Dragonfly? What Dragonfly? Oh, is that the G.I. Joe, though? I think that's the G.I. Joe, ain't it? Darth Gutierrez, welcome to stream. What happens? I'm talking trash. What did that person type? Basically, they, it started off pretty innocently, saying that they're looking forward to me talking about the McFarlane leaks that are half and half the James Gunn Superman movie, and then the other half is more DC multiverse stuff as far as Batman's collector's editions, other heroes that are going to be included, even more cowls, even more statues, even more Jokerized stuff, and we'll get to that topic. But when he tackled the Superman thing, he literally said James Gunn, is avoiding spoilers, but then the leak showed redacted, and then they changed it to say to not spoil, and I'm like, then in my mind immediately I thought, then why do you think it was okay for you to type it? What made you think it was okay to type it? Did you think maybe other people in the chat don't know about these leaks? Haven't read the document? Did you think about that? And I have no leniency for that. You get timed out. Sorry. DM, welcome to the stream. By the way, guys, let me know if I'm a little too loud on the microphone. I'm still trying to... Actually, you know what? Let me see. Hopefully, this is not a disaster. But let me see if I can monitor my voice so I can get a kind of get an idea. Where is it? This one? Oh, yes, it is. So I can kind of get an idea. Monitor only, mute output. All right, you guys are probably... Hello? Testing. Ooh, I can hear myself. This is strange. Testing. I'm going low. Testing. It's a little too low. That's a little better? Okay. And I believe I lowered the gain a little bit. So let me go back to my filters. Oh, yeah, I did. Hello. Let's go to a 9. Yeah, 9 is pretty good. 9 is pretty good. Yeah, that's about the average that you're going to hear. Okay. And then I could always do this. 0.5. Alright. Stop monitoring because it's trippy. Cool. Pokemon, welcome to the stream. Tariq, welcome. HasLab G.I. Joe Dragonfly. Oh, okay. So, because I saw some other people in like the toy community talk about that. That they're getting theirs or something. And that's okay, Big Rib. Like, I'm not gonna, no problems that it's, we primarily talk about DC and Marvel, but ever so, a couple streams ago we were talking about Transformers, because I do like Transformers, and hearing about that other company that's tackling like a masterpiece type one that actually kind of looks legit. But I know for a fact I don't have the money for it right now. Luckily, I didn't see the documents. I am not getting spoiled. Well, Pugman, if you look up the documents now, it does say supposedly the alleged documents, because let's be honest, they kind of look a little like basic Google Docs. But at the same time, there's been instances where some of those Google Docs pop up and they actually end up becoming kind of true. But in terms of template, in terms of presentation, they look like Google Docs. And now in the most up-to-date one, the one that doesn't look like a text screenshot, but rather like an actual Google Doc, it actually says name held to avoid spoilers. So now you won't see spoilers, but I believe there was an earlier one that had that looked like a Instagram DM feed, and someone screenshotted it, and that one I think did have the spoiler names. But yeah, I mean, like I said, just use some common sense. If there's like a gut feeling when you're typing it out, thinking, if there's a singular iota of a gut feeling that makes you go, this is probably a little spoilery, stop typing it. Don't even think, it should be fine. No, stop typing it. Stop typing it. A Transformers store dedicated. That's cool, but at the same time, it's kind of strange that out of all places, London, because you would think it would be in Japan because of Takara Tomy. I wish McFarlane's Henry Cavill Superman was shorter than Batman, because Batfleck is... Yeah, he would always tower over him. But they're kind of either about the same size or, I guess, kind of the same size. Nice, Pugman. That's cool. Speaking of figures that we got, you know what? Before we tackle... Just to make that guy just a little bit more irritated, since we're waiting a little bit more on the topics. I have a little bit of an unboxing. It's not really an unboxing. It's more like a mail call sort of thing. So I'm not going to actually open the figure up, because I do need to shoot B-roll of the box before I mess with it. Even though this is one of those cases where I feel like I can still open the box, open the figure, and still shoot the B-roll of the box after the fact. And it's probably recommended because it's wrapped in cellophane, so it's a little less reflective because of the lights. But still, just for posterity, I'm going to shoot it beforehand. So, before we tackle the first topic, I got an unboxing. Make sure you don't see my address here. It's on this side, nothing on this side. Okay. Bam. So, got a package here. And with it, as you can see, it is a unit of C4, and the stream is about to end in about 5 minutes. We'll get him next time. I actually just got done watching a batch of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 reviews, because I keep forgetting to watch those reviews, because I actually beat the game about 2-ish weeks ago, and I posted my thoughts on Twitter whenever I beat a game, especially a more up-to-date game, but it's not Spider-Man or Batman related, and I'm not going to make a video out of it or anything like that. I just post like a blurb on Twitter or Threads or even Blue Sky. I'm actually on Blue Sky now if you guys want to look me up. And I already posted my thoughts about Black Ops 6, so I thought to myself, I've been meaning to watch other people's reviews about what they think about Black Ops 6, and right now I just got done with a batch of videos from Black Ops 6. So immediately when I think of C4, I think of the Black Ops 6. It's alright, we already know where you live, the Batcave. I wish. Event merchandise opened in a partnership with Hasbro. Strange, yeah, but it's an expensive shopping area within London. So it makes sense, like, commercially speaking. I'm currently doing an 100% run of Arkham City. Dude. Really? Pugman, why are you doing that to yourself? Because I know for a fact that doing those goddamn Riddler trophies... What are you doing to yourself? But speaking of Arkham City, I gotta replay that game because I feel like that's gotta be my next essay. Because I already did one on Arkham Asylum, and it's been a few months. I did that one back in August. I think we just hit the 3-month mark since I did that. So I feel like around this time I should probably start up another run of Arkham City so I can capture that footage, gather my thoughts, and do a retrospective of that. Wait a couple of months and then do a retrospective of Arkham Origins. And then Arkham Knight. We shall see. Especially since, I don't know how many of you have heard, but apparently Rocksteady is in talks to go back to Batman. Making a Batman game. Yeah, good luck with that. Because they're like, well, nobody liked our Suicide Squad game and it sold poorly, so we're going back to what works, Batman. Newsflash, you're not the people that made it work. You are Rocksteady by name, not by people, not by talent. Get out of here with that. Alright, so let me unbox this, or unwrap this. This might be a little difficult. Like I said, let me make sure that this side stays on this side because it does have my address on it. Even though with this webcam, it might be a little bit on the difficult side to actually get done. Let me make sure I don't cut myself. I'd 100% this guy before Arkham City, but we'll wait till Deathstroke. Also that too, like people have to abbreviate it now because of the rules with the name. So stupid. Where are we? As far as like the timeline. Like seriously, where are we? Because it's getting bad. How do I open this? What's the... God damn. Like it's almost sealed from every direction. Or do I maybe do this? Cut away. Please remember to cut away. Oh, here we go. Like there's got to be a piece that kind of unfolds from itself, right? Jesus H. Fernando Delgado, welcome, hello, and happy Thanksgiving from 19-year-old fan who will be turning 20 on December 2nd. Happy early birthday, Fernando. I've just restarted all the games, beat Arkham City, downloaded Origins, I'm almost done with Night and Asylum. Speaking of which, I'm hearing a lot of good things about that VR game, but you need specifically the MetaQuest 3, and I do not have that. I do have the original Quest, believe it or not. I have the original Quest, which at the time was just called the Oculus Quest, not the Meta Quest. It was just called the Oculus Quest. It was gray, so it looked cool. But yeah, obviously a little bit of outdated tech in that regard, so... Man, they really packed this in. For those of you tuning in right now, we're doing an unboxing real quick before I tackle the topics for today's video. Just waiting for the more people to jump in. But in the meantime, I'm doing an unboxing. So that's the wrapping noises you hear. Holy shit, they really wrapped this. Oh, there's the flap. There's the gooey flap. So on the end, on the side that has my address, is actually where they have the flap. So I gotta undo that. And I don't want to stab it too much because we're now getting to the point where I don't want to stab the box. So I'm wondering... Let's see. Here we go. they put it in a weird box. What the hell? Alright, this is gonna be funny. This might be funny. Also a little suspect, but okay. Ooh. This is really weird. I never had this happen before, but hold on. Arkham City is 100% the best Arkham game. Like I said, that's the thing. I want to reacclimate myself to see exactly which one's my favorite one. I have not... Ooh, Brian's new dishwasher. Welcome to the stream. But you bring up an interesting point. I don't think I've played Arkham Origins Black yet. I have it on Steam. I know that for a fact, but I don't think I played it yet. I only have like 30 more Riddler trophies to get. Wow, you already got there pretty quickly. I heard it can run on the MetaQuest 2, but they locked it to 3 for sales. Interesting. But even then, Tariq, I don't have the 2. I have literally the original one. And I have not played it, I think, in a couple of years now. Speaking about the MetaQuest 3S and Arkham Shadow, I bought the MetaQuest 3S and it came with Arkham Shadow. Funny that it arrives near my birthday. It arrives December 6th, my birthday December. And then Pugman, happy early birthday to you as well, in case I forget. So, I unwrapped the wrapper and I got myself, it arrived today, a Kada Kick Sauber F1 Team C44 race car from Kick. Because apparently I'm now a sponsor for Kick. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm pretty certain they're using this as packaging. This is so weird. And again, it kind of makes me raise an eyebrow, but this is strange. Look at this packaging. This is not what it is. I know what this is, but this is not what it is. They're using... This is so weird. You see this? An F1 racing car sponsored by Kick. With some sizable denting here on the side that I do not appreciate. I'm scared now. I'm scared. But we shall see. So, look for the review of this race car. No, I'm kidding. Like I said, I'm pretty certain that they're using this as packaging to keep the actual thing inside safe, which I'm hoping to God yeah. All right. Polish Tank, welcome to the stream. I am playing Arkham Knight right now while listening to the stream. Nice. Not very conductive, but nice. I do understand Hasbro has flaws, but I think they're trying to make the classic suits for the characters, unlike McFarlane releasing the classic suits at gold labels, which they should be released first. But the thing is that he knows where the demand is at. That's probably why he does it. There's a strategy. Sells out quickly. Is that from Lego? That's the thing. I was looking for a Lego sign, but there isn't. It's like bootleg Lego. Kada? I think. But there's no Lego. But the pieces look kind of like Lego. So strange. But no fretting. Just as I predicted, they're using this as packaging. Just to hold it. Here's the actual thing. Which has even more bubble wrap and taping. But this is the actual thing. And I can see it right here. Alright, that's what that was. Max, why do you keep retracting your messages? I gotta be honest. I don't know what's all that for. All right, here we go. I removed the packaging, and here it is. The actual thing I was waiting to come in. The Fonjoy saga continues. Justice League. Batman. From the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. From Fonjoy. So we got the BVS, which I really dug. We got Pattinson Batman, which I did not like, damn near hated, because of the posability issues, which, according to some people, they said that I technically got a defect. I don't know. It felt... There's areas where I thought it was probably a defect, but then the fact that both ankles were messy instead of just one, and just so many stability problems that just made me think that it was more of like a production problem rather than just my unit being funky. But then others are saying that theirs were fine, so I was like, well, god damn it. You know, I kind of wish that I could hit up Calkeys and ask for a replacement, but by that point it was just too late. I wasn't even happy with the sculpt from a subjective point of view to begin with, so I was like, why bother getting the same figure that sure might have better joints, but I still don't like the likeness. I still don't like the quality of this, or the paint jobs of the suit, etc. Whatever. That was already in the past. Moving on. Now I'm looking to greener and much more higher quality pastures with the Justice League Batman here, because this is giving me vibes that the BVS Batman did, in which this case is a really good thing, because I really like that BVS, and from the photos that I've seen of this guy, oh yes, it might just be kind of nice. So we'll see how long it'll take for me to start filming B-roll of the box for this, to make sure that I'm ready to unbox it, play with it, and probably pull the BVS one from storage so I can make comparisons, play with it as much as possible, and shoot my review. But yeah, got another Fonjoy. Okay, Max. Yeah, you don't have to do that though. You really don't. But it's so weird that they put it in this weird ass box. The kick box. And I'm like, that's weird. Just do a standard brown box. But okay. But at the same time, they're resourceful. I'm just gonna recycle it anyways. And that was sent over by the folks over at Calkeys once again. So when that review goes live, there will be a link to their site, so you guys can check it out. And I do get a kickback from that. It is an affiliate link, so any usage of that link is going to be helpful towards the channel, but of course that'll come later when the review finally goes live. So look forward to that. What scale is it? 1/9. So it's a little strange. It's a little bigger than a McFarlane, but not as big as like a regular 1/6. It's like sandwiched somewhere kind of in between. Okay. Alright, well, we got that unboxing out of the way. Let's tackle the first topic here. Let me go to my list. So it looks like McFarlane is really full speed ahead when it comes to some of the stuff that they revealed, not just at San Diego Comic-Con, with some of the more tumultuous stuff, such as the Joker 2 set. Joker 2 pack, I should say, not Joker 2 set, because it makes it seem like it's for the sequel, but rather the 2019 from the scene at the end with the Murray Franklin show, and how, to say the least, divisive that set was. In fact, it wasn't even divisive. It was very controversial, however, as far as how they priced that set. But bundled with that set was also the unveiling that McFarlane is making big power plays as far as their 17+ labeling, being able to bring back certain figures that you thought were kind of gone for a little bit because of their mature nature, but it looks like this time he's deciding to simply just give folks who missed out on the first iteration a second chance without ever really touching or trying to fix something that was effectively never broken. And we have our first resemblance of that with a tease last week and a full pre-order launch this morning, with the pre-order launch of a black screen. What does that deactivate? This one? There we go. God damn it. The Thomas Wayne and Professor Zoom, or Batman versus Professor Zoom 2-pack from Flashpoint, or I think it's just called Flashpoint. And so we have this set that finally went live for pre-order this morning, and it's actually currently still up for pre-order. And my assumption for that is because it's technically, for lack of a better term, a reissue. This is a complete reissue because I believe that this Zoom figure has been released before. I could be wrong, but I have a very strong feeling that we've seen this Zoom figure before, and maybe he's gotten a little bit of a touch-up. But what I can confidently say we did get before is that Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman. I know this because this was not only one of my early reviews on this channel, but it was also, frankly, I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite McFarlane figures ever, because I love the construction of the figure. I like the way that it's molded, sculpted, articulated. It feels great in hand, but also it comes with the guns. It feels very uncompromised, solid, and I dig it. And to see that McFarlane's going back and giving people a second chance to be able to purchase it is awesome. And without compromises, because surprisingly, with some legal hurdles such as putting it in the tweet, exactly in the tweet with a little asterisk that just looks so out of place here, it with an asterisk sign, not a toy. They have to put that because this set will in fact include his pistols under his holsters there. Oh my god, the face. But it's a 2-pack that will include not just Thomas Wayne and Professor Zoom, but also their respective accessories, such as Batman with, like I said, the pistols here, which he's not really brandishing. He just has them in the holsters. But what he is holding is the giant sword here. And here he technically has a cowled head with like a grimace showing the teeth, which I believe is probably the only alteration they made. I think the original had a much more, he had like a angry, aggressive face, but he wasn't showing any teeth. But to sweeten the deal, he will come with the Thomas head, the unmasked Thomas head to be able to swap it with, as well as, I believe, an extra little piece for the collar to make it look like the cowl was pulled down. So that's pretty nice. Along with an alternate head of Professor Zoom with the gray hair, and then again the cowl, the little collar piece to make it look like the mask was pulled down. Cool little effect. And then Zoom himself, let me actually bring up, where is it at? Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong scene. There we go. Just to be on the safe side. Let me find that product page to then go into the pictures. Here we go. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, this is much better. Let me actually, hold on, before I do that. Oh, no. Do you think McFarlane will still make the swappable cape figure, or will try and find a way to improve it? I hope he finds a way to improve it. I don't want him to get rid of the idea, but that Night People Batman definitely came with some issues, and it's not necessarily the first time, because I hear that the cape on the year 2 was also a little bit cumbersome. It didn't pop off frequently, but I heard some other people say that trying to like finagle the cloth cape was just strange. I'm really tempted to get this 2-pack. Flashpoint hits home for me. Nice. Well, not nice, but you get what I mean. I don't really like plastic capes. I like a wired cape. Plastic capes are too clunky for me, but I still buy the figures because it doesn't ruin the figures for me. I ended up pre-ordering the 2-pack, the normal one, by the way, because I missed out on the original release. Johnny Shem, welcome to the stream. I missed the first one. Had to pick up the autographed and regular versions. Wait, Johnny, you got both? Okay, so before we get to that, so transition back. Here's a full product shot of the box and everything that's included. So you can see that we got both figures, the 2 heads, pistols and the sword for Thomas Wayne, and then this bolts kind of fight stick. Let me see what the other, here we go. Accessories include 2 alternate head portraits, lightning rod, so I guess it's the lightning rod, sword, 2 sidearms, I have to call it that, I can't call it guns, and environmental display base, which leads me to this whole situation, to the whole timetable as far as how this is going to move. It's so far scheduled through the McFarlane Toy Store site, as well as Amazon, as well as Target. Well, is it up on Target? I don't think it's up on Target, actually. But Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, it's more or less scheduled to come out in like January of 2025. That's what the labeling says. And I believe even Big Bad Toy Story adds an extra month to like February. But I gotta be honest, this is, let's call it Ace of Spades. This is a reissue. This is not a brand new set. This is simply just a second opportunity in case you missed the first one, which technically I did. Even though I own that figure, I don't know how many of you know this. I did mention it in that review, though. I made it completely transparent that my acquiring of that original Thomas Wayne figure was secondhand. I actually bought that off of Mercari for an added like $10. It was, instead of $20, I think I paid like $30, $35 because I just liked how that figure looked like, and I definitely don't regret it. I dug it. And at the time, this was literally back in what, 2021 when I started the channel, late 2021, early 2022. So here we are about 2.5, almost 3 years practically later. And, you know, at the time, we weren't going to know that McFarlane was ever going to revisit this, especially after the WB gun ban. So to see that he's doing it is pretty pleasant. But again, let's not mince words. It's a reissue. We've had these figures before. We've had these accessories before. I think the only brand new accessories would have to be the alternate head sculpts. And even then, they're not new, but the way that they come bundled is new, if that makes any kind of sense. The way that they're, you know, put with each other, because I believe there was a platinum or there was a chase that had this head, but it didn't have the cowled head, so you got either one or the other. And I think it was a similar thing with Zoom. I can't remember that exactly. I want to say the rod is new and the sword is kind of new. Maybe. I again, I can't confirm. What I can confirm, though, is that we've seen this diorama too many times before. God damn it. Because if you guys can't tell, this is that same diorama, complete with the tombstone from the Hush 2-pack. The one that came with the Batman Hush that has the open face and the Hush that I think also came with like a screaming face. The one that was on clearance for like the longest time at like your nearest Target. It would always be on clearance. It would always be stacked up on the shelves. It was a shelf warmer, for lack of a better term. And here you see it again. It probably has like some new wording on the tombstone, but we've seen it time and time again. So the fact that 85% of what's in the box we've already seen before, I think it'll be released way earlier than January. I want to say probably by next month. Probably even before Christmas. Because ideally, it would make sense for this thing to hit before Christmas so that people have stuff to wrap and to give to their big McFarlane Toys Batman fan. Now, which one did I pre-order? Well, I have to confess, I finally popped my... Where are you? Here we are. I finally popped my Autograph Series Cherry. Because Johnny Shen, just like you did, I pre-ordered the autographed edition, which is surprisingly still available. Usually these guys go out of stock, get sold out rather quickly, but I think one of the contributing factors to that is the fact that, again, this is a reissue. And so this Autographed Series Gold Label edition, that's only a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, is still available. Now, usually I don't really vibe with these guys because sometimes they do kind of inflate the price quite significantly, and the only thing you're getting is an additional trading card that happens to have the autograph of the artist, in which this case is Jeff Johns. So you have a autographed card by Jeff Johns. However, what made this an exception, because like I said, I usually don't vibe with this. Either 20 to maybe sometimes even $30 more just so that you can get an autograph card, but literally everything else is the same. I'm like, nah, I'm good. But the reason for why I made an exception this time is because A, it has one of my favorite McFarlanes ever, which is the Flashpoint Batman. And the other two reasons is mainly two reasons that kind of complemented each other fairly well, which is that A, the base model, which is the standard one that's not autographed, just the standard model, surprisingly only $40. Again, you can contribute this price point to the fact that it's a reissue and it doesn't really cost McFarlane too much to make. But still, if you never got those originals, $40, meaning that $20 each figure, that's even less than what they're going for standard release right now in the store. So if you walk into a Target or Walmart and get just a standard McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse 7-inch figure, it's about $22.99, $3 extra. So here you're getting $20 per figure, and you're getting, granted, like I said, a repeated use of the diorama, the tombstone. Okay, we get it. We've seen it before. But you get all this. You get the sword. You get the lightning rod. But then you get the alternate heads and the guns. I'm like, there's, again, being a proponent of value, for $40, this is really not that bad. Especially if, again, you missed out on the first release. So knowing that the base model was a lot cheaper than I was, because I got to be honest, I was expecting 50. I was expecting 50, maybe even 55. 60 would have been a little crazy. But I was safer with like 50. I was totally expecting 50. So saying 40, I was like, that's a lot cheaper. So knowing that then made the autograph edition 60, which is still kind of crazy for $20 more for the card. But here's that second half of the second reason. Is that I actually had a $20 rewards code saved on my account. $20. So you mean to tell me that I can actually get the autograph edition for the price of the original? Because the price of the original ended up being cheaper than what I was initially thinking, which was 50. Now we're back down to 40. And the only thing additional is, of course, shipping and tax. Let's do it. Screw it. So those things combined, it's not just one or the other, but it was the combination of those reasons I opted for the for the autograph edition for the first time, because like I said, I typically do not get autographed editions, but this time it kind of spoke to me a little bit, and therefore I was like, yeah, I kind of sort of have to do it. So there you go. Display purposes and backup. Oh, one to rock. What is it? One to rock, one to stock. Johnny. I have kids. Ooh. All right, now I can't blame you, Johnny, for sure. Just got more trophies in Arkham City. Only 20 more. Nice. Black Boy, welcome to stream. Black Boy, you actually bring up an interesting point. Let me look at that original McFarlane Flashpoint Batman. Yeah, because he's... Yeah, I'm going to have to do a head swap. Because the original has just a regular stoic face. Let me show you guys. Bam. He doesn't have that grimace. So that's probably the only other caveat you're going to have to deal with. Ugh. But like I said, I technically do have this original. So definitely one of the things I'll try to do in the video, and this time it will be in the video. It won't be after the fact community post like last time, because I did mess up last time. I should have included that in the video. But this time for sure, I'm going to try to actually do it on camera and swap the heads to see how they look like and see if they're complementary to one another. But the rest of the body looks pretty much identical. And again, it's going back to the fact that it's a reissue, and even though I'm making the bold prediction that he might be shipping this out probably by Christmas, it might also be in my favor as a content creator to get the autograph edition, because I believe that those being McFarlane Toy Store exclusives mean that they're probably going to ship out even sooner, because those are only exclusives to the store. They don't get sold anywhere else, so he's probably making only a few and then shipping those out. So it's possible that maybe those will end up getting shipped out even sooner, and I'll get it sooner, and I'll be able to cover it for you guys before we even get close to Christmas. So that would be nice. I think people ran out of money because even the Simon Baz autograph is available as well. The autographs usually do go. It's Christmas, you know. People have to buy stuff for families. I'm a selfish motherfucker, so that's. but the economy. But that's the thing, Johnny, is that it is a reissue, so the retooling and stuff like that. But that effectively also made me think, are we in an age of like remasters, re-releases? Because I feel like within these past few months, or more or less weeks, we've been getting a lot of these, like not just with standard DC Multiverse, but we even recently had this new wave of Batman animated series figures, and one of them is just the standard New Adventures of Batman, but now he's like a bright blue. Instead of a black and gray, he's like a blue and gray. So he's reutilizing that, reutilizing an awful lot of the DC Direct stuff for that matter. But there's just a handful of other stuff that, you know, has been kind of revealed by him. In fact, let me see what's in like the recent side of pre-orders. You know what? Let's tackle one little elephant in the room here that people are stoked for, and even though I'm still interested to see how it does, take for example this Batman Noel, which is part of the new wave that's coming up soon, but this is the autograph edition by Lee Bermejo, which does look pretty dope. But we've gotten this buck before. I recognize the sculpting of the pants, and I dig it. It was in a page puncher. But I dug the suit. I really like the suit. How robust it is, how tactile and very army-like it looks like, with the pouches and the pads right here in the center. But it just has a different color coding. Outside of that, we've gotten it before. Except now he's going to come with a cloth cape. So we got that. We're kind of getting some more animated series stuff right here. A new Shazam. This is reuse of the upcoming Christopher Reeve, except with the cel shading and a different head. So he's kind of putting two out. I've already mentioned in that review, the review for the Night People, that it is in fact the Nightfall buck again, and an upcoming review for the Justice League Task Force Batman. That's Nightfall buck again, complete with the Nightfall 2-pack head sculpt. So, are we really in a dawn of reissues? And is it McFarlane's doing? Or is it the fact that Warner Brothers doesn't really have too much coming out right now? I almost want to say it's kind of half and half. And it's kind of half and half. But at the same time, there's a part of me that kind of wishes that McFarlane would use this time where maybe he's not tied to a specific license, at least not yet, until next year. And in that time, in this time of peace, so to speak, he can maybe experiment with some kind of buck that's like different than what we've seen before, instead of potentially getting stuck in an age of remasters or re-releases or retools or repackages or, for lack of a better term, repaints. Because I'm kind of scared that he's doing that just a little bit too much. Didn't we technically get Flashpoint Flash re-release, but with the digital slapped to it? Oh, that's right. There was like the... Yeah, now, here's the thing. I don't keep up with too many Flashes, but something tells me that that is similar to that one. You might be onto something, Wrench. I have both first releases of this. Thomas, he practically has no articulation. I will admit that the ball joints on the ankles were a little annoying on that first release. And from what I can tell from some of those pictures that I saw, the same ankles. It's the same goddamn figure. So that might be problematic when it comes to posing, when it comes to actually situating him during the review. We'll see how it pans out. Because, yeah, I'm looking at it like, god damn it. That might be annoying. No, wait, Todd, we'll get the more. Oh, Johnny, I'm going to try to tackle that for sure this time. This time I actually read up some articles. Actually, I have them booted up right here. So hopefully we'll tackle that. Provided my voice doesn't disappear by then. I'm going to take off the jacket. I'm actually getting a little warm. Okay, so what was his name? Kevin Liano, if you're back, you should be not on timeout anymore. So you should be fine now, since we are actually about to tackle those McFarlane Toy Store leaks as far as the upcoming stuff that McFarlane is allegedly, supposedly tackling. Now, huge grain of salt. This is all alleged. This is all speculation. Because let's admit it, this whole thing looks like a goddamn Google Doc. But last time we gotten something like this, it actually ended up being kind of true. Now, I pulled this from Reddit, which I know is not necessarily the most trustworthy site, not necessarily the most reliable site, not necessarily the most wholesome site. But someone posted this. I literally just wanted to keep tabs on the document itself. And this is not to say that whoever posted this, whose name is Phasor over on the McFarlane Figures subreddit, posted this about 6 days ago. They're not the ones who broke this. They're just reposting it, and I just wanted to grab it so that I can have a direct point of reference to the leaks themselves. So let me bring this up right here. Take a swig of water since getting a little dry over here. Okay, so I don't want to go through every single thing here, to be honest, because we're going to be here for quite a long time. But there's a couple of things that do stand out to me as far as this leak. And I'm pretty certain that if you want to take a longer, closer look at this list of leaks, you can pretty much pull it up by a simple Google search. But two things are probably the biggest thing pulled from this. I think the biggest one that Kevin Liano wanted to jump the gun on, sorry, but again, I don't have the tolerance for that, but now I will mention this. Within this leak is probably the thing that was kind of a given, which is that McFarlane will in fact be making the DC Multiverse figures tied to the Superman James Gunn movie coming out next year. And so baked a little within this list towards the bottom of this first page here, you'll notice that it says DC Theatrical 12-inch Superman, and then it says Superman movie. Can't tell if that's the 78 Superman movie or if it's the new one. It says DC Theatrical 12-inch, so I'm going to assume being 12 inches, that's a resin statue or some kind of PVC statue, a 1/6 scale statue that he's been doing recently. Because I doubt he'll be doing a figure. If that's a legitimate figure in 12-inch, 1/6 scale, we're getting into, I don't want to say Hot Toys territory, but rather more so like Mondo territory. And so expect those things to be somewhere between $150 to maybe $200. But I doubt it. I'm pretty certain that's a statue. Above and below it, though, you'll see that it says DC Superman movie Mega Fig, name removed due to spoiler nature. Again, if you really want to dig for it, you could probably find what that nature is. 7-inch Wave 1, name removed, movie chase. Then it says Supervillain, Superman movie. Like I said, I'm pretty certain that that's at this point we're getting to the 78. I'm sorry, the new James Gunn movie, not the 78 one. Supervillain Wave 1, and then DC Direct Super Powers Multipack Superman movie figure 5-pack bundle gold label. I'm gonna assume, and this time, I guess this is maybe a little spoilery, but at the same time, I'm pretty certain most of us have seen the set photos. This Superpowers multi-pack that's based on this new James Gunn movie is probably, obviously, Superman, but it's probably going to include those other characters like Mr. Terrific, the Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl. That's already 4. Who would be the 5th? Who would be the 5th? I know there's a 5th in there. Crypto? The dog? He's been confirmed? That's probably going to be the 5. Yeah. And then Superpowers playset Superman movie. So it's probably going to be some kind of environment that he goes to. So that's the big thing. And then among there, it's got to be Superman himself as part of the wave. I don't know if that's going to be considered a build-a-wave. I don't see it on here. But it's kind of a given. Right? So sticking within the theme of Batman, because we have other collector's editions coming up right here. We have a Hawk Girl from JLA, Guy Gardner, numbers 36, 37, 38, Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific getting quite an awful lot of light shone on him, but it's pretty neat. But then here at the top, more collector's editions, wave 10, above, so 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39. Among them, though, Batman Year 2 V2, version 2. Gotta be honest, what is that? So is this just a repackage of that Target exclusive that I mentioned in my Night People review? Because it kind of seems like it by name. And then right above it, a collector's edition 2-pack, number 3, Batman vs. Killer Croc from the Grim Knight. Let me see what that looks like. I don't think this is correct. I'm just seeing like a lot of fan art. Maybe he'll be reutilizing the Grim Knight, bug again. Since now he's not afraid to do 17 plus, maybe he'll come with all those guns. That'd be nice. Welcome back, Kevin Leano. Accept your apology. Do you like the platinum version of that Batman Noir? What's the platinum version? Oh, the blue one. Honestly, yeah, it actually kind of looks kind of cool. It's one of those where I'm not gonna like go out of my way to hunt it, but if I ever go to like a Target or Walmart for like groceries, I'll be like, let me go to the toy aisle. Let me just double check and see what happens. What's one of your favorite McFarlanes from this year? Possibly Adam West, which is why I kind of understood why it's currently nominated right now for Toy of the Year. That's one that stood out to me for sure. Wasn't there something recently that I really liked? I don't know. I can't think of it right now, but yeah, I'll have to look. Daniel B, welcome to stream. What's your favorite McFarlane in your collection? I mean, I don't know about a definitive one, but one that we kind of tackled in the stream already, that Thomas Wayne Flashpoint, the original. Chris Verde, welcome to the stream. Do you think the Spider-Man retro card will be released again anytime soon? The Green God, I think you meant to say Green Goblin is coming. What about the others? I don't know, because they're doing weird things with that animated series one. It'll be nice. But I feel like after they see how much it's going for the aftermarket, I doubt that they'll revisit anytime soon. Okay, so we covered a little bit of the Superman stuff right here. Other stuff that stands out to me, though, before I tackle this next little segue, because there's actually a chunk right here that I kind of want to save up for the perfect segue to go into my next topic, actually. But sandwiched in here, we're getting that Bruce Wayne Build-A-Figure from the animated series that builds Hardak. It's the one that kept getting delayed. That's actually in here. And that's already been officially unveiled by McFarlane himself. So I'm like, you guys are, okay, this is kind of lining up a little bit right here. Right underneath it, we're getting a 1-to-1 scale cowl again, only this time from the Dark Knight. So the one that has the narrower, like, neck piece. Unfortunately, still can't wear it. So I'm like, cool, but you can't really wear it. So then you go over to the second page. And this is where things get kind of interesting. Because up here, as part of a new wave, it doesn't look like it's a Build-A-Figure wave, but sandwiched in here is a Batman from 1 million. Which has like this like little chest piece that's like the bat symbol, but it's very narrow and it kind of clasps right here, and he doesn't have a mouth plate. In fact, it might not even be a Bruce Wayne. But it's a cool design. And I'm like, making a figure out of that? Fuck, I'll probably still be picking it up. So, god damn it, got me again. And in their classic animation, probably the Fleischer 1940s Superman is going to be included in there somewhere. Dark Flash. I believe that those were also hinted at a recent convention. I think it was New York Comic Con that was in there. Batman. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Before I tackle that, new digital wave 4 that comes with Silver Age versions of Dr. Fate, Two-Face, Superman, Kingdom Come Superman, Page Puncher, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Page Puncher. It looks like, because if it says with comic, that's got to be a Page Puncher, and it's 7-inch. It's not the tiny ones. The 7-inch. Underneath it, though. That's what caught my eye and made me go. Made me almost bust a nut. I'm sorry. But, come on. 1989 Batman, 7-inch, single release, so you don't have to buy a Bat Pod, you don't have to buy the Ultimate Movie 6-pack. You're finally getting a proper singular release. Thank God. But I already have 2, so I'm good. What I do need is that Batman Begins Batman right underneath there. That's what I'm looking at going, where is it, Todd? Where's the figure, Lebowski? Oh, God. Perfect timing. Hold on, I'll tell you guys right now in a second. I just got an email. And it's thematic to this. But yeah, Batman Begins, and then right underneath it, Batman Begins gold label. So it's a platinum of some kind. What do you guys think the gold label is? It's got to be one of 2 things. It's got to be either the first night out, where he doesn't have the cape, he's got the ski mask, and the little like straps right here, the golden buckles and straps. Or it's the Demon Bat from when Crane is hallucinating. Gotta be honest, prefer the Demon Bat. But also, I'll take the first night out. But I prefer the Demon Bat. That's what the gold label would be. If it's a Batman from Batman Begins, 7-inch. And then underneath that, it gets a little, whatever. It's Bat Pod with Batman from the Dark Knight. So effectively, that means that we're getting another Bat Pod, but he's going to come bundled with Batman. My guess is that this is another opportunity for people to get the Wired Cape Batman without having to hunt down that platinum that was the Skyhook version, even though he didn't have the Skyhook pieces or whatever. And he didn't have the unmasked cowl. And he'll come with the Bat Pod, which I technically already have. However, I think this Bat Pod is going to have the darker shells, like the darker pieces that on this Dark Knight Rises version that we got recently with Catwoman had more chrome pieces. So they're going to be more muted to the way that it looked like in Dark Knight versus the way that it looked like in Dark Knight Rises. So that's what I suspect that is. And then, of course, right there, Superman by himself, Wave 1. Interesting that it's called Wave 1. King Collector Vinyl figure, DC Direct, Superman, King Shark. There's that King Kong 2-pack. Oh, no. That's a Movie Maniac. Sorry, that's not the... I thought it was that King Kong Batman crossover. It's not. These are just Movie Maniac stuff. There's going to be a Beetlejuice. More of those statues, Cyclops, Daredevil, and then a 1/6 Thor, which I think already got hinted at New York Comic Con. So overall, not too bad of a set of leaks. Not too bad. Hold on, let me check on chat just to see what they're saying, because I had the screen open over here before I tackle a little chunk of those leaks, but it'll serve more as a form of what's the word I'm looking for? Segue. Have you seen the platinum version of the Batman Spawn, the blue one also? Yes. Gotta be honest, between that and the Noel, I prefer the Noel, but I guess it really depends on how much money I got on me. If I have to pick one or the other, prefer the Noel. Daniel B, I have the Joker set pre-ordered, but I pre-ordered it through Amazon and through GameStop, because neither of them charge when you pre-order. They only charge, well, GameStop charges a week before it releases, and Amazon charges when they ship it. That's the only reason why I did that. And even then, I got until what, March to decide if I truly want to do it. But yeah. But I definitely didn't pre-order with McFarlane or Big Bad Toy Store. Well, definitely didn't do McFarlane because they charge right at the gate. Couldn't do it through Entertainment Earth because weirdly they ran out. It's a little strange depending on how many units they got. And didn't pre-order with Big Bad Toy Store, which typically they don't charge until it ships as well. But when it comes to really high-priced items like that, at $250, they do charge a non-refundable deposit, which surprisingly they were doing with the Joker set, $25. I was like, nah, I don't want to spend money right now. Not on that right now. Demon Bat. Yeah, so we all agreed that it's got to be Demon Bat. Come on. For Batman Begins, Batman, they should use a head sculpt similar to Hush. And first appearance to make that neck nice and thick like in the movie. That's probably one of the few times, because I usually do not like when the neck and the head are conjoined in one piece. But here, it actually makes sense. For the Batman Begins cowl, it makes sense. So I'll give them that. If they go with that style of head articulation, as much as I don't like the movement, it makes sense for the actual structure and molding and sculpting of the cowl itself. And that's the one that I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys that one. Use it. No, that's a good point, Posh Tank. I saw that Pugman, that SSKTJL. Jeez, stupid acronym. 95% off. And that's the $100 version. Like, it's almost kind of like sad. That's where Rocksteady's at right now. I don't know if you guys have heard that. If you guys heard a snap, that was literally my shoulder. I'm a very bony guy, so whenever I move, I pop. And I'm getting old. Christ, Pugman, are you serious? Like on Steam? These people. Good lord, these people. So, earlier, guys, I said that I got an email. Just really quick before I jump on the next topic. Got an email from Sideshow. Can I show this? I don't want to show. You know what? I'm not going to show it. I'll just tell you guys because it's got information in there. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that just in case. But I just got an email, and the header of the email says, your Sideshow Bane item is charging soon. I'm like, oh, fuck. Hot Toys Dark Knight Rises Bane. The 2.0. The new one. It's arriving in the warehouse. And they're about to charge soon. I'm like, I can't afford... I mean, the only thing I can do right now is maybe put... change to a payment plan and postpone the first payment to next month instead of this month. Maybe I could do it that way. Because right now I can't. I mean, literally about 2 hours, an hour and a half ago, I got another rejection email. So it is what it is. But I'll try to hold on because I sincerely do want to do a review of Bane. It's Batman related. Basically, when it comes to like Hot Toys and stuff, I'm trying to hold on to the stuff that I know I can make content for. I know I'm going to be able to make a video for it. So if it's Spider-Man related or Batman related, I try to hold on to it and at least make a video out of it before I have to, if I'm forced to, sell it or do anything like that to make sure that I'm, for lack of a better term, responsible with money. Or at least try to make it seem like I am. Try to be an adult. Socratic Mind 89, welcome to stream. My body has been popping ever since I can remember on most of my joints. No pain or discomfort. Yeah, it's just popping. It's just, like you said, air buildup. Like, hold on. Sorry if you guys hate this, but yeah. Like, every 10 minutes or so, I can easily crack my knuckles. No problem. And I don't know if this will come on... Hold on, let me see. Oh. Feels good, though. Oh, did you guys hear that? Please tell me you heard that. I might have to clip that. Oh man. It feels good though. Like, you know, you feel like the smoothness of the body and you're like, oh. Oh. Like imagine if I did Pilates or something. I'm going to have to play this. What is this? An hour and 15 minutes in? I'll have to check the audio, see if it came through. If you don't want your Hot Toys Bane, I'm so ready. I still want it. I'm going to try to hold on to it. But let's just say that in an alternate timeline when I wasn't on 1/6 Kit's site and didn't notice that a certain in-art figure was available for pre-order and I missed it, then right now I would have enough to cover Bane. But I don't, because in this timeline, back in, I think, January of this year, was it January or was it April? Somewhere around there. It was very early this year. I think it was January. I was on 1/6 Kit's site, and I saw that a certain figure from InArt, the premium edition, the rooted hair version, was available. And I'm like, you know what? I have the money for the NRD, and this is like almost a year down the road. I got it, and now here we are. And even though I technically did have the money for it, I'm back to being broke. So yeah. But Socratic, if you ever want to keep tabs on anything that I like sell or want to part ways with, I technically do have a Mercari page and an OfferUp page. So just look me up, Dark Spider David. Same username, Dark Spider David, and I should be on there. Speaking of that 1/6 Kit pre-order, let me actually check. Ooh, we have a development. Depart from facility to service provider. What the hell does that mean? Oh, wait a minute. Is this a UPS number? Is this a UPS number or a US? It's got to be a USPS because it doesn't start with the 1Z. Let me try. It's got to be postal. Hold on, I'm curious. Oh my god. What? This can't be... If this is real... This can't be real. This can't be real. Let me try something different. Let me try DHL. Maybe it's a DHL number? Alright, DHL doesn't work. Let me try UPS. Sorry, guys. Plus, I'm also trying to give my voice a rest here before I tackle the next subject. 1Z is UPS. Yeah, it doesn't start with 1Z. It's just numbers. And it's a very long tracking number. And usually when it's a lot of numbers and it's a long one, my mind goes to USPS, Postal Service. And when I typed it in, it did work. But I gotta be honest, it's way too close for it to be accurate. That even I'm like, is it really already within driving distance? Like, it's still a drive. Like, we're talking about 2 hours. But at the same time, I'm like, but it barely shipped on, what day was it? What day was it? Monday? Yeah, Socratic, I'm 33, but my mind is probably way older than that. If that makes any kind of sense. Okay. Now, when going through those leaks, you guys notice that I kind of breezed over a little chunky chunk here in the middle. Let's go back to those leaks. We covered the Superman stuff, some of the stuff that I'm excited for in relation to Batman Begins, especially Batman Begins, because next year, this year coming up, which literally starts in like a month and a half, if you guys want to feel old and feel depressed, 2025 is here. 2024 is gone. And in that year, not only are we getting that Superman movie that McFarlane will very, 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 very likely be making the figures for, but Batman Begins will be celebrating its 20th anniversary, which means A, we're probably going to be getting those figures from this list that truly does make sense for him to produce. It's like you're printing money if you make those and you make them right. But B, I'm probably going to have to do some kind of retrospective on both the movie and the game, which I never played. So I'm probably going to have to, find some kind of method to play it. I don't know if it'll have to necessarily be on original hardware, but I genuinely do want to try playing that movie tie-in game. If any of you guys have any experience on playing that movie tie-in game, let me know in the chat or in the comments if this is a separate video, because I am eager to see what that game was like, because I missed it. I never played it. But I do want to make retrospectives for those two things that's Batman Begins related, because it's the 20th anniversary, just like I did with Spider-Man 2 this year. However, going back to these leaks, a lot of them look very probable, and then there's others that I feel are just too probable, but not necessarily in the most positive of lights. Because sandwiched here in the middle, you have Azrael Batman Armor Nightmare Gold label. That's a lot of labels and parentheses to be added. Furthermore, Batman from Batman and Robin and Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin, which means that they're going to pre-assemble that Build-A-Figure, and they're going to give us Frostbite editions of the Clooney Batman Gold label and Blacklight editions of the Freeze Gold label. More gimmick figures. Taking stuff we already got and making the Frostbite edition of it, making it the Blacklight edition that comes with the little base and the lights, which is a nice little gimmick to like grab one, maybe two, depending on the characterization. Like, for example, for me, I thought it was kind of neat to get the Blacklight edition of the Zur-En-Arrh Batman because of how saturated and how his colors pop with the orange and yellow, and it made sense to shine a light on it to make those colors highlight with that Blacklight, and it was cool. It was a cool gimmick, and it made sense. With Mr. Freeze, yeah, it's going to be blue, but outside of that, I'm like, why? And then underneath it, I see another glow-in-the-dark of Captain Carrot. He's using Captain Carrot again. Dark Knights of Steel Batman. Dark Knights of Steel Batman is coming again. Patina edition. How many versions of that guy did we get already? And then the Batman Year 2. But this time, black and white with accents. So it's the black and white one with maybe like some accents of blue or something, kind of like that Red Hood Big Bad Toy Store exclusive that I got. This is just the recycle reissue block of the leaks that I looked at and go, this is kind of borderlining on parody. And I'm a little nervous because I also do feel, to an extent, that McFarlane is kind of overstocking themselves and overdoing it with certain things. Getting a little... I know a lot of people are quick to go into the comment section and say money hungry. And I'm not going to say that you're absolutely in the wrong, or because I'm not inside of Todd's head. So I can't say you're wrong. I'm not going to speak for Todd. It's like, it's possible that he is money hungry, but at least my personal impression is not necessarily money, but Todd is going crazy the way Michael Bay goes crazy with the explosions. Someone sees him on the set doing like this, that you have people within the room, or even him going like this in like the meeting while pitching the movie, and someone in the room doesn't want to tell the guy, hey, calm down, or no. And, or as much as I love Christopher Nolan, sometimes I feel like Nolan doesn't have that editor in the room saying, hey, maybe we should trim this instead of being almost between 2.5 to 3 hours when it doesn't need to be. I feel like this is one of those cases where it's not necessarily money driven, but rather too chaotic in the way that they're like, oh, we can make this and we can make this. And then sometimes there has to be that logical line producer figure to be in the room and be like, or, you know, we could probably pull back because we're sitting on just so much stock. And maybe some of this stock is exactly what we're seeing with this little block in the middle here, because it looks like the Batman and Robin Batman here, the Clooney Batman, him making a frostbite of that mold, it makes total sense. Because not too long ago, I went to one of my Walmarts here in my area that's within driving distance, bunch of Clooney Batmans stacked up on the shelf. So is it completely out of logic to think that he's probably looking at his warehouse and saying, holy shit, I got way too many of these Clooney Batmans printed out, like the non-colored ones, like the ones that are just like that gray kind of aesthetic, or like that translucent plastic. He's like, oh, let's make those frostbite. And then Mr. Freeze says, oh, we have too many of the pieces. Let's assemble them and make them into the Blacklight edition. Or you can melt the plastic down and use it towards a new figure. I think we have a little bit of that happening. Actually, not too. Oh, well, except for Dark Knight's Death Metal Jokerized gold label on the second page, right underneath the icon. I don't know who that is. Our Man, don't know who that is, but likewise, I didn't know who Clock King was or Ragman was, but they actually look kind of cool. And every so often, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. No, every so often, I think maybe if they go on clearance, like some form of bundle sale, or maybe I'll pick them up, or not right now, but I never would have known about the character if McFarlane didn't make a figure. And that's always something that I've always liked about McFarlane, is that he'll look at a character and go, that looks cool. Even I don't know about the character, but let's make a figure because the figure will look cool. And maybe he'll be being able to bring some of that justice to characters like Icon and Our Man. But it's just a shame that at the other side of that sword, right underneath it, Batman Dark Knight's Death Metal again. And it's Jokerized. He can't help to not Jokerize shit. And there it is again. And it's a gold label. Like, what? Like I said, I really sometimes desperately would love to be a fly on the wall of these meetings to see exactly how they go down as far as his decision to overstock and sometimes overdo it with some of these Jokerized editions, and kind of feeding into the theory. And I have to emphasize the term theory, you know, just alleged, just speculation, because I know that this can or cannot trigger some folks. Sometimes it does feel like that whole notion of McFarlane overstocking a little bit too much is kind of, the speculation is rightfully put in a logical place, because over on their social media recently, they're really going through with an awful lot of these like promotions. Like they're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, but in order to do that, he's doing a giveaway of those Call of Duty Spawn figures. Which, don't get me wrong, I've seen in person and do look kind of neat, but I'm like, you're doing a giveaway now to get the channel to 100,000 subscribers? You're McFarlane Toys, just wait. Why do you need to do a giveaway? I gotta be honest, to me, it kind of gives me the vibe that you have too many of those Spawn figures. And then over here, on this separate tweet, don't miss out on the Batwing from Batman the Animated Series, available for pre-order exclusively at Target. And when I click that, it should take me to the Target page. And it's a whopping $150 of a DC Direct Batwing. Looks neat, but not $150 neat. And sure enough, still available for pre-order, set to release by the end of the year, let's safely say. But what made it kind of strange to see this? Oh, somebody pointed it out right here. I am Mo Rod in the comment section. I don't understand. This went on pre-order months ago when Target was doing their Geekathon. Why is this suddenly being advertised again? because it's not moving. And maybe it's not moving because you overpriced it at $150 for a DC Direct repackage of something that I think we've gotten before. So I just feel, like I said, that maybe some stuff has been overstocked, overproduced. And going into 2025, McFarlane needs to restructure and pull it back. Or there has to be someone in the room that says, dude, pull it back. Because I suspect he made way too many of these. And yeah, when I saw this, I was like, is this a glitch? Because didn't this go up for pre-order months ago? And I was like, all right, I'm not crazy. Someone else said it right here in the comments. Low pre-orders, I'm guessing. There you go. Matthew McConaughey meme. It's perfect because that's exactly what was going through my brain when I saw that. And so an awful lot of these like little details in the social media feeds and whatnot, I'm like, yeah. And then I see this other comment right here on the tweet, should be $80, not $150. Yeah, I'm like, you mean to tell me that the Batwing is going to be double the Batmobile? And I think I can safely assume, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a presumption here and say that a lot of us gravitate towards the Batmobile more than the Batwing on average. With any version of Batman. Unless you're like a planes person, like you love planes, jets, stuff like that, and that's your shtick. I think 90% of Batman fans, we love Batmobiles more so than Batwings. The Batwings look cool, but don't think that you can charge $150 and expect it to move, because it's not. And sure enough, you go on Target right now, still readily available. And I think this is one of the few times that I've seen McFarlane literally not retweet or repost, because that means, the repost. No, I mean literally create another tweet or another post for socials to tell people that, hey, this is still, you can still pre-order this. Just, hey, you can still pre-order. And I'm like, why are you telling me twice? Like, just putting it in my face. Like, why are you telling me twice? And if anything, like I said, it just creates this level of optics that you produce too much. And you overpriced it at that level. And I'm scared that similar stuff is going to happen with some of these figures that are on these leaked lists, because then he's going to be pushing more of that stuff. And then the stuff that is really, really cool is going to be underproduced. And I'm like, there needs to be a level of balance, because you're going to have the stuff that's cool sell out like that unless you wake up early as soon as pre-orders go live. And then the stuff that people don't care about, I'm going to be going to Targets and they're going to be clamoring all the shelves. And I'm like, why am I even hunting? So I'm hoping that this is something that could be turned around entering 2025, because, boy, they're going to need it. Pugman. Transcript of a McFarlane meeting. More Jokerized characters and more Batman. Also go label and shit out a retool. And when it comes to retool, I'm a bit more passive or lenient when it comes to certain retools where I can tell that there's less of, how do I put this? Basically, I like it when he retools to the point where everything marries itself well, but it's utilizing enough different parts that it almost becomes a whole new figure. Even if I'm able to recognize that the arms came from this buck, the legs came from this buck, but they complement well. It's almost like that customizer's mentality, but hey, it actually came from McFarlane. He did the work for me, and now it's in my hands, and it looks cool, and it's painted well. All right. Let's just put it this way. I'd rather have that than for Marvel Legends shitting out another Spider-Man, and it's using the Sunfire body, and that's it. All they did is just new paint, but the head is the same, the torso is the same, the legs is the same, and I just feel like I'm pulling the same figure out of the fucking box each and every single time. And that's why I slowed down on Marvel Legends. The only times that I buy something is when it looks drastically different, which is why I was compelled to only pick up 2 of the new Across the Spider-Verse figures, which was Miles G and Spider-Man India. The others, I'm like, I either already have or don't care for. Like the Miles, which is technically the Miles from Into the Spider-Verse, apparently. That's why he's got the smaller head and the older costume. Gwen, I didn't care for the new hair, and I'm not about to spend $25 just for like a little Lydia figurine. Miguel's been whitewashed literally with the unmasked head sculpt, but otherwise it's the same figure. And even though it's got a cool unmasked head sculpt, the Hobie has that color scheme with the glitch effect, and you still it almost feels kind of unapologetic how they still throw in the standard neutral Hobie head. It's almost like Marvel Legends is telling us like, hey, you know you want this, so you could put the neutral head on your older one because we know you have the original Spider-Punk. It just feels smug, you know. It feels nasty. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it would look less douchey if you didn't include the standard Hobie head, and the Hobie head that's in that version is just the glitched one, and that's it. But the fact that they threw in that neutral one makes me think that you guys know what you're doing. You're trying to get us to spend another $25 so that we can get that head and put it on the original Spider-Punk. Fuck yourself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, that shit pissed me off. I hate that. How far? Sorry, hold on. I'm doing a little bit of tracking. Yeah, it is about 2 hours from here. That's crazy. It's almost 2 hours away, which means definitely won't arrive tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving, but possibly Friday. If that's the case. If not, Saturday. Huh. Crazy. All right, well, we'll see. Okay, let's bring it home. Our last topic here, and hopefully I have enough of a voice here, but kind of carrying it over from last week's stream where I started to run out of time, and also I didn't really have too much of the knowledge of this, but now I kind of do a little bit better, even though we're still kind of in the dark as far as what we're dealing with certain companies and their toy licenses expiring. Because apparently in the next couple of years, certain toy licenses that we really hardcore feature here on the channel are in fact expiring. Now, one of them I think was supposed to expire this year, but let's, cut to the chase here. It was Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends I think was supposed to expire either this year or next year from Hasbro, or at least the Marvel licenses for Hasbro. But they got behind the scenes, it's one of those things where I'm like, there's no way that Disney/Marvel is gonna let that stuff go. It's not. All right, they're not gonna let it go. And so I feel like, and I told my girlfriend this, that whenever that happens, it always feels like I'm watching. It's like the whole scientific way of when. What the hell is this? I'll close that. God, that's annoying. It's always like when they say that you're like seeing a star in the sky at nighttime is technically a star that's already been dead for years, so you're barely reaching it right now. I feel like that kind of happens when we find out that certain licenses are expiring or are about to expire. By the time we hear the news or the details about this thing happening, they're already behind the scenes, probably already ironing and inking a deal to extend that license. 9 times out of 10, we're not in the same trajectory. We're hearing about like, oh, this might expire next year. They're already up here like, oh, we already renewed it. We just haven't told you guys. And I feel like with Marvel Legends, that happened. Where behind the scenes, while they were saying that, oh, they might expire in 2024 or 2025, Marvel Legends already renewed at least, they haven't confirmed it to the public, but some insiders say that, yeah, they're good until 2026. So up until 2026, sometime in that year, I don't know if it's at the beginning of the year or towards the end and like the second half of the fiscal year or whatever, however it is that they break it down, that license will expire for Disney/Marvel for Hasbro to make their Marvel Legends figures. I'm sorry, like I said, can't talk for long periods of time. I don't know why. I have very thin vocal cords. But basically, we're good until 2026 with Marvel Legends, so there's really not too much to really kind of dance away with that. There's nothing much more that we could take away. And to kind of clarify that, I did have an article that for some really stupid reason keeps like refreshing on me. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So let me actually switch. There it is. So this is brought over by marvelousnews.com, Jay Crochman. The question of whether Hasbro will hold on to the Marvel license seems to be popping up with more and more frequency these days. While it's true the details for how long the current license agreement between Disney and Hasbro for Marvel lasts, and that's not been made public, it is pretty clear that Hasbro will be doing Marvel stuff at least through the end of 2026. And he's citing a tweet from Dan Yun himself. I gotta be honest, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of Dan Yun. He's always kind of struck me as a very cocky, smug kind of dude, where like the other two guys feel a little bit more genuine and they want to, be there with us, but they can't because it always feels like their hands are tied. Dan's always the one that's just, I mean, look at his profile photo. It's him like this. So I'm like, I don't know. I just always get this vibe from him that's like, if you don't like it, then screw off kind of vibe from him. I'm sorry, but I've always gotten that feeling from him, just him. Ryan and Dwight always seemed cool to me. Both of those guys, it always seemed cool, and I always felt like whenever they want to deliver something that the fans want to see, they're always like, but our hands are tied. Dan's just like, yeah, I work at Hasbro, screw it. I don't know why. But according to him, he tweeted literally almost a week ago, last week, we are already cooking on 2026. Just for your information, JFYI. So that was fairly recent. So even though it's not like an official statement from Hasbro or a joint statement from Hasbro or Disney, we're getting Marvel Legends until 2026. So for at least another, quite honestly, 2 whole goddamn years, we'll be getting the Sunfire Spider-Man bodies over and over and over again. And unless the paint job is just that cool, or there's a very distinctly different figure, if they're, there's rumors going around that they're finally going to tackle some Spider-Man 3 stuff, as far as like the black suit maybe, or maybe we'll finally get the Electro and Lizard from No Way Home, those deluxe figures, because I generally did like the Doc Ock figures, so maybe I'll get those, but outside of that, I'm still going to be just kind of breezing on through with the Marvel Legends stuff, if I'm being completely and brutally honest. What is a little more interesting, at least to me, is that apparently on the other side of that coin, almost quite literally, you have McFarlane, who technically is losing the license at the end of 2025, which is a whole lot sooner. Now, again, what I have to reiterate, what I mentioned before, about the fact that when we hear about this, they're probably already in the background talking about negotiations, signing deals, and probably, as far as we don't know, maybe they're already extended to 2027, and we just don't know it. I tried searching and searching. All I can find is speculative stuff on Reddit. That as far as official declarations, I can only find something as far back as I think May of 2023, which is like this article saying that they extended their licensing partnership to 2025 between McFarlane Toys and Warner Brothers / DC. Our previous contact with the DC Multiverse was a huge opportunity for McFarlane Toys to be involved with some of the best brands on the planet, Tom McFarlane says, the man himself. Being able to play creatively with the characters like Superman, Batman, The Flash, and Wonder Woman, along with many other brands in the vast Warner Brothers library, proved to be a huge success for us, and Warner Brothers Discovery. An extension of the contract expands the depth and range of the partnership between launched 3 years ago, that I can know, and that's the end of the article. For the next 2 years, and like I said, this was... So we're in the midst of that, but technically, as far as we know, again, pure speculation, they might have already extended it and we just don't know and they haven't made it public. But as far as we can tell, in a, Elseworld kind of situation, McFarlane could, if they didn't work out a deal, doesn't want to spend that much, which I kind of doubt, but there's a possibility, tiny one, but a possibility that the end of 2025, McFarlane loses the DC license. Now, from what I can tell, I don't know what it is, but so many people are rooting for this to happen. They are really rooting for this to happen. They're rooting for McFarlane to lose the DC license. I'm sorry. You can call it a bias. No. I like things to be the way they are. And to be honest, looking at it from a realistic perspective, I think that's also the second most popular opinion, is that people are saying that, frankly, everything is going to stay the same. Marvel will be with Hasbro, and DC will be with McFarlane. There's a reason for why so many figures sell out of the McFarlane toy store. I can't imagine Warner Brothers not being happy with that, especially with the way Zaslav has been literally writing off movies for tax purposes. So, I gotta be honest, I feel like, again, just speculation, throwing shit at the wall, but there's in recent times, I feel like DC needs McFarlane more than McFarlane needs DC. To an extent. Rishav, welcome to the stream. We're talking about the licenses possibly expiring in the next couple of years. So technically, as of right now, as far as what we know as public knowledge, McFarlane Toys has the DC license until the end of next year, 2025, and Hasbro has the Marvel license until the end of 2026. And to be honest, between the two, I feel like the Marvel and Hasbro one, they're just going to keep throwing that money because Marvel is still owned by Disney, and Disney's going to be like, nope, don't go anywhere. Here, don't go anywhere. Whereas Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers DC's with McFarlane are the ones that I think will have a little bit more of tit for tat as far as those meetings or those negotiations. Chainsaw Max, welcome to the stream. Happy about Hasbro keeping the license, great head sculpt and great articulation than most competitors. Not better than Jada though. Batarang Belt, welcome to the stream. So I have seen a lot of people saying that their toss-up to actually pick up Hasbro would be Jada Toys. And I'm not going to lie. Recently, the stuff that they've been doing with the Street Fighter figures, ever so often I see them in that collector's edition section at Target. And I'm like, why does that look kind of cool? Let me see, what's some of the other stuff that they've been doing recently? Jada Toys 2024. So obviously the Street Fighter stuff, obviously the car stuff, but specifically figures, looking at the Chun-Li, pretty much anything Street Fighter. I'm looking at the sculpting, the tooling, and I'm like, these look legitimate. So imagine a Spider-Man, and I don't see any pins. I'm just saying, I don't see any pins. Aren't they doing turtle stuff as well? Or am I thinking of somebody else? But yeah, I mean, I'm just imagining in terms of build quality and sizing and I don't know. I'm probably going to have to pick one of these up just to see exactly what we're dealing with here. Because when we jump over to some of the bulkier characters like Ken, this is from Street Fighter 2, Violent Ken. But yeah, look at the Zangief. The Honda, E-Honda. And then over here you have a little bit of that Akuma and Evil Ryu. And I'm like, God, I'm picturing not just Spidey himself, but even other characters from the property. And I'm like, I'm seeing really great potential here with Jada Toys. That I'm like, yep. And that's coming from someone who's a big McFarlane stan. I gotta be honest, it'll feel a little monopolizing-ish if McFarlane were to own both Marvel and DC. It would be... I remember there's a video by a YouTuber named Valaverse, and I watched this video, and it was a really good video and informative. Again, he only knows as much as the public knows, so he didn't give like any insider details or anything like that. But he brought up one point that I did think was kind of curious, which is that if McFarlane had both Marvel and DC, hold your vomit, calm down. But at least it would all be on scale. It wouldn't just be 6-inch and then 7-inch. It'll all be 7-inch, and I know you guys will probably hate the 7-inch, but at least you'll have complete consistency up on that shelf. But, and then as far as like the bodies and the joints, I would say that maybe the Nightfall Buck would probably favor Spidey as far as the lean look and not going overly bulky with the physique. Trying to think, and then a mega figure size Venom. I'm not gonna lie, when I think about it right now, I'm kind of like, wait, hold up. Mega figure. So think of, I don't have a mega figure here out, but let's say like the recent Kryptonite Doomsday, or the recent newly released Red Swamp Thing. So something of that stockiness and that stature, but it's Venom. With the suit, with the head, the tongue, extra hands, tendrils. I gotta be honest. That sounds kind of neat. I can't deny that sounds kind of neat. So, but I will admit that it'll feel like when in those movies you have a guy and a girl, a man and a woman marry, but they both have kids and they try to force the kids to get along, and they're both just kind of awkwardly in the house, and they're now step siblings, and they're just like, and it creates shenanigans. That's how it's that's the ambience I'll feel having Marvel it be also under the DC roof. Under the McFarlane roof. But on that same vocation, McFarlane has been teasing stuff with Marvel as far as those statues. Is this the first step for McFarlane to show that, hey, come 2026, can we talk? Because the fact that he's still within those leaks, we saw that he's got more statues, not just within the leaks, but also within some of the slides that he showed over at New York Comic Con. We got more of those Marvel statues are coming, and people are picking them up. They may not be like fully selling out, but they're moving. Especially some of the Chase stuff, some of the Platinum stuff that's only available in store. Jedi has very good articulation. I can see like a lot of the points and the butterfly movements. I ever so often I get tempted to want to pick up at least one Street Fighter figure to see exactly what we're dealing with as far as Batman as Jim Gordon is the Buck for Spider-Man. Okay, you know what, Socratic? You're right. Not the Nightfall one. That's even leaner. That will look more like Spider-Man. You're right. I like that better. You're right. I don't know why. I forgot about that one. I hope Jada gets the license to make the Marvel vs. Capcom line. Imagine getting at the 30. I would get it, Rashav. I would totally get it. Did Dan rub you the wrong way originate from him being smug at stuff? It was one of the factors, but it's also like him barely talking and barely just kind of contributing during the because I've seen some of the Hasbro Pulse live streams, and ever so often he's just kind of like it's body language. The other two guys look a little bit more invested at showing off the figures. Like there's a little bit more energy, and he's just kind of like, and I was like, oh, okay, but whatever. I didn't think of it too much. I thought it was a little strange, but didn't think of it too much. Then the Shardamus interview came, and I was like, okay, I now don't like this guy. I'm sorry. But You're one of the faces. I know that there's other people on the team that manufacture these things, but you're one of the 3 guys that we see all the time with these reveals. And guess what? You weren't one of the and by you I don't mean you, Socratic. I'm talking about Dan. Dan, you were actually not one of the faces that I saw at Comic-Con during the Marvel Legends panel. Ryan was there, Dwight was there. You were not there. And I noticed that out of the 3 of them, he's the one that always skips out panels and conventions. And he could say that he was busy with this, with that, whatever, but the frequency, when it's like someone going to work and they start calling out, and every time that they call out, it just happens to be something that sure gets validated later, like a family member was in the hospital, or their kid was sick, or they had to take care of this, yada yada. But then when it becomes so frequent, it's like eventually it's like, we are running a business. I'm sorry, but even though we're able to validate all these reasons and you're not playing hooky necessarily, like you really did have something going on, but we're running a business. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you go. And eventually someone has to talk to Dan and be like, hey, you have to show up, man. But whatever. That's just me. Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, Jada figures. Oh, they made those too? Hold on. What do those look like? Yeah, they look. And it feeds into. Wait. Are those felt goods? Obviously not with Spider-Man. I'd rather just have it all be plastic. But keeping the theme with Marvel, imagine a Jada Toys blade with an actual trench coat. Thor with an actual cape. Felt good fabric cape. Yeah, I would probably say that would be my nominee. I mean, it might be cliche at this point, but Jada Toys would be the one if I want them to take over. Well, I got to be honest, to take over either one of these, either Marvel or DC, because DC, a Batman with felt goods like that, but with the articulation and the solid build that I'm seeing in those pictures. Of course, Superman, even Wonder Woman. Yeah, that would be my nomination for who I would want to see take it up. It's Shadow Toys. Magneto with a cape. Maybe some diecast in there. Maybe some diecast for like some of the more premium stuff, since they've dealt with diecast pieces on their vehicles. I happen to have pretty much all of their Batmobiles. 124th scale? Yes, 124th scale, because the 118th scale is a little bit bigger, and I only have one 118th scale, which is the Pattinson Batmobile. But in 124th scale, I have also Pattinson. He was on sale. Forever Batmobile, Keaton Batmobile, Tumbler, and even the Affleck one. They've done diecast on those things before. Imagine a Magneto with like a diecast helmet. Maybe not the whole figure, but like a diecast helmet. Batman with the like little touches to just give it that weightiness. I would gladly pay like 40 to 50 if that's what that includes. But if we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic and just take it at face value and say that right now, Marvel's good until for sure 2026, and probably in the background they're probably negotiating for 27 and 28. Let's just call it like it is. McFarlane's the one that I think there's maybe some more wiggle room, but I feel like they're going to renew as well. Because the amount of times that I'm seeing the sold out button on the site, and even on other retailers like Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, etc., I can't imagine that Warner Bros. Is going to want to walk away from that. We're just going to have to deal with a few more of those caveats, like either the overstock or some of the weird things like the MMA stuff, the movie Maniacs that I don't really see too many people buying. I have a theory. What if Legends is actually losing the license by end of 25? I have a reason. The Black Suit Toby is releasing next year, but it's not even the 20th anniversary of the movie. No, Rishav, I got to be honest. I don't think that really has much to do with it. I love Jedi DC figs just because they would fit perfect with the and the Mayfix stuff. That's true. It would kind of get. It would pretty much become. What country is Jedi Toys from? It's American. It's an American company that manufactures toys. An American. Okay, good. So Jedi Toys is American. They can be, to an extent, the American Fonjoy, where it's going to be more about 40 to 50, but you're getting some better goods with like things like capes, maybe a die-cast piece here and there, like I said, like a utility belt or a mask or a helmet, and then you get the stockiness and the build of things like this instead of just the same like wobbly articulation, same bucks over and over, yada yada. But not to the extent of Mayfix, where you have to spend somewhere close to like 80, 90, or even $100. And again, could serve as a gateway to be like, oh, if this is cool, maybe if I spend a little more, like $30 more, $40 more, boom, Figure Arts Mayfix. And maybe the I don't know. It's so much to break down because at the same time, we also have to look at it from the perspective of like, okay, so beyond that, what does this do for the collecting market? Is it going to hurt a little bit because these figures are going to be costing more by default? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Or do you think that's going to be making the hobby? If anything, maybe this will make it a little easier to find stuff because then the scalpers will look at those prices and be like, that's too much. Maybe. Jason's Electric, Dark Spider, how much will figures go up after the incoming 100% tariffs? Gotta be honest, I don't know much about that. I'm gonna have to do some research. I heard rumblings about those tariffs coming up, but I completely am in the dark with that. I have no idea what those are. I'm gonna have to do research. So I don't know. I really don't know. I would probably say right now, just off the cuff, I would say it's mainly the stuff that has to be imported. So Mayfix, Figure Arts, Fonjoy, and unfortunately Hot Toys, because they mostly come from Hong Kong, and even in art. Todd is doing Marvel statues. He has been drawing Marvel comics for how long? Now to hear Marvel expires end of 2025. Todd's not getting any younger. Well, it's 2026, Johnny. That's why I'm like, but I'm hoping that he's planted. Well, not hoping, but it'll be interesting to see if he's maybe making him making these statues is his play to be like, imagine what people will give if I articulate them, if I start moving them. Marvel, you guys want to do business over here instead of Hasbro? But at the same time, it's such a ways off that I don't know. Do you own the Batman Frostbite edition figure? Nate Side Comics, welcome. The DC Rebirth one I do. It was covered in that DC Rebirth Buck comparison video. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna head on out of here. Plus, I just made a disastrous realization. It's not really disastrous, but still, it would have been nice if I had thought about this. I completely forgot about this. I forgot to record the segments separately through OBS. So now I have to wait for the stream to process to be able to download it in the best quality, which doesn't happen until tomorrow morning. God damn it. I was hoping to post one of these topics tomorrow morning, and now I feel like I'm not going to be able to do that. Probably Friday, but not tomorrow. So I'll see. I'll see what happens. But yeah, it's because I keep forgetting. Last week that I did this, and I wanted to clip one of the topics out as a separate video. I always wait for the HD quality version to process, but that literally doesn't happen until the next day. Like the next morning, especially if the stream is like super long. Like this one's even longer than last week's, so I'm like, fuck, this is gonna take even longer. So I thought to myself, oh, maybe I hit record over here, but I didn't want to risk crashing the stream or having anything happen to it. Like I need to run a test. I seriously need to run a test. But I completely forgot. I slipped out of my mind, and now I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to wait for this to process again. So let me wrap this up here. But we did tackle every single topic that I wanted to tackle, so that's pretty good. Cool. We didn't really miss out on anything. But on the subject of Marvel Legends, really quick, if I could find it here. Where's my man Paternia? Where you at? Where is it? Where is it? Here we are. Another Spider-Man. Marvel Legends Spider-Boy. And it wasn't even revealed by Marvel Legends or anyone over at Hasbro. It was by Dan Slott on Instagram. Is that the Sunfire body again? Because it looks like it. And a lot of people apparently don't like him. But there you go. That's coming out. But I have no affinity with Spider-Boy whatsoever. So, pass, I guess. Problem is the statues don't seem to be moving fast. It depends. Like, if you go on Entertainment Earth or McFarlane Toy Store, there's like a couple of comic-based Batman statues that actually surprisingly have moved fast. They're like sold out. But they're very niche. So, I don't know. Anyways, guys, as you can hear, I'm losing my voice, and we just passed the 2-hour mark. Like I said, I need to wait for this thing to process so I can start clipping it out so I can get the best quality possible, but that's probably not going to happen until tomorrow, so I'm probably going to be editing and shooting B-roll for the rest of the day today and getting an hour in from the gym. And that about does it. So thank you, everyone who tuned in. Like I said, I'm losing my voice. I'm not going to mention every single person by name, but appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this time next week. But I would want to say that most importantly, please be safe tomorrow, guys. Thanksgiving. Try your best to not kill your family members, no matter how tempting it may be. No matter who they voted for. Be the better person. What would Batman do? What would Spider-Man do? Batman would just leave the room unannounced, but like he always does. And Spider-Man would just try to hold everything together like he does when he's trying to stop a train. How about that? Good luck to me, who's going to try to do either one of those two. Struggle to do either one of those two things, but wish me luck. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. Appreciate the talk. Appreciate the stream. It was a good one. Very meaty one. And I'll catch you guys next week with some more developments should they happen. But in the meantime, stay tuned to the channel for more content. One more review going up this weekend for the gold label BVS 2-pack that came with the weapons. So a quick look at that. And I'll be editing more stuff in the background. In the meantime, guys, you guys know what to do. Stay humble. I'll catch you later.